Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Stan Houston once again. It's a Sunday evening flowing into perhaps a Monday morning. This is a time where we take the weekend where hopefully we've done some time for rest and some reflection, certainly some relaxation, perhaps enjoying family and friends, a time for worship, and then a time perhaps toward the end of the Sunday day to get ready. For years, I've taught the principle of the Sunday night meeting. And what that is quite simply, at the end of the day, you sit down, you may light a candle, you may put on some good music, something that relaxes you, and you just take time to think and to wonder what you're going to do in the week that's before you. In effect, we oftentimes talk about being one of the 3% who know what they are going to do. Well, that's getting harder and harder to do, to know what we're going to do, because things change so fast and so rapidly. But it is good to perhaps take some time to think about the things that are before us, perhaps give thanks for the opportunities, be aware of some of the snafus and some of the things that could trip us up, how to be well prepared for the week. And that's what we do. And then we say a little prayer and commit ourselves to perhaps an early to bed and get ready to rise early on Monday, sometimes around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, to be ready for the day. So that's what this is all about. But with your permission, I'd like to share a little fun story and perhaps a rather unique song, because I'm going to put together two things. First of all, the fact that this is, for many people, the season which is called Lent, which is a preparation for Easter for those who celebrate, at least in some way, the Christian tradition, and the idea of a poker game, a deadly poker game. So, can we talk about that? This is Lent and a deadly poker game. I'm Stan Houston. Let's see if we can have a little fun. At the same time, perhaps enjoy some good music. And at the same time, just be reminded of something very important. I'm Stan Houston. Interesting ideas, and the program begins right now. I'm happy to say that I'm grateful. I've got a lot of opportunities and I've got a lot of obstacles in my life. I wish at this stage in my life I had a lot less obstacles, but I'm grateful that even at this stage in my life, I also have a lot more opportunities than most people have, and I'm able to take advantage of them. Obviously, the fact that I've been involved in radio for, oh my goodness, 45 years, gives me the opportunity with this brand new phenomenon called podcasting, is that the things I've learned in those 40 plus years is helping me to help a number of companies and organizations do exactly what I'm doing. The world is moving away from the big towers and transmitters of the radio stations that we're used to. They'll be around for a while, but economically, the cost of those huge towers and those powerful transmitters can no longer be sustained, because there are people like me who have a computer and a $50 microphone and the ability to put programs all around the world because of the World Wide Web. After a while, we are going to perhaps make it possible that they can't make it possible, because the competitiveness of the very medium, more and more people will take advantage of the podcast phenomenon. And that includes you and your company. In fact, I will be in the next few days talking to some major organizations who know that their communication is not working the way they want it to. They're not being able to reach their audience, particularly a younger audience, and they wonder how they're going to do that. And as I say, what we are very good at doing, or at least we seek to be very good, and we've got a lot of experience. We're going to help you find, discover, and reach your audience, the people you want to talk to entertain, inform, perhaps to do some buying and selling. And then we're going to help you bring your message to life. No more boring brochures, no more dead trees. You are going to use the performing media, not the social media. The performing media, you're going to learn how to speak, to perform, to tell stories, to do those things that people find not only entertaining, but perhaps engaging, maybe even inspiring, certainly we hope interesting. But as a result of that, a relationship is built. And remember, all business is show business, and all business is essentially a relationship business. Somebody has to trust somebody, and the person who's been trusted has to deliver the results of that trust. And without trust, nothing happens but chaos and bad things. And in some cases, that's what's happening in our world today, particularly because our political and social and educational structures, we no longer trust them. And as a result, they don't work, and they can't work. So here's the deal. What I'd like to suggest is perhaps that we enjoy the possibilities of thinking and using this as a time to do that. We're actually helping a wonderful organization put together, and they're going to be stories of Tombstone, Arizona, the famous town too tough to die, the OK Corral, Tombstone, Arizona, and the Battle of Tombstone, as it's called, is a historical legend, and hundreds of thousands, even millions of people around the world want to hear stories about that. At the same time, in this nostalgia era, there's a famous highway in the United States called Route 66, which no longer exists. But it was called at one time the Main Street of America, and there are wonderful stories and legends. And even as we put together today a program, not today, I'm talking about today, we did it the other day, about the ghosts of Highway Route 66, because it's entertaining, it's informing, and in effect it gives us a sense of history. And remember, it is our history which allows us to make good judgments about our future. And those are just two of the programs we're putting together, and I'm grateful for that opportunity. However, if I can, let me take it this direction. For those of us who are in that tradition, this is the Lenten season. And what that is all about is, in effect, it begins the 40 days before Easter. And those of us in the tradition are reminded by that Ash Wednesday that dust to dust, you shall return. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. And in effect, we will die someday. We will not have immortality as we know it. We are all mortals. And so how are we going to live well knowing that we are mortals? That something is going to happen. Well, that caused me to think about, unfortunately, a very famous murder that took place in the cowboy country at that time of a town called Deadwood, South Dakota. And some of you know the story, but here it is. One of the more famous of the characters, and he was portrayed in many films and in many of the movies and videos of the time, was a guy named William Hickok, Wild Bill Hickok, a legendary character in the Western tradition, a gunfighter, and also a man who was on various sides of the law, as they would say, from time to time, which was very common in that time, but a man of some renown and known for his ability to settle arguments and get things done because Wild Bill knew how to handle a gun. Well, he was murdered. He was killed. And it wasn't in a gunfight, you know, the one where they stand and look at each other and then they grab for their guns and the one who is fastest and bestest puts the other one down on the street. Nope. He was shot in the back of the head. Now, here was the story. The story is that it was a poker game, and Wild Bill had a hand. And that hand had, as we would say, those of you who may know the poker expression, he had two pair. Not usually too good. It might get you to win the hand, but not likely. But what it was legendary. It was said that Wild Bill Hickok, when he was killed, had two pair, two aces and two eights. Two aces and two eights. And that has since become known as the dead man's hand. In effect, we are all dealt a hand in life, and we have to realize that in some cases, we may be dealt a bad hand. In fact, we may be dealing with a dead man's hand. And so I just simply point out, as one of my friends will sing the song, Greg Hager, that simply is a good metaphor for we don't know what's going to happen. Oh, we can plan and we can be a good gunfighter and we can win lots of battles and we can be very successful. But ultimately, we don't know what really will happen to us. We cannot be certain or sure that the things we have we'll always have. We cannot be sure that the success we have is going to last. And obviously, we cannot know that the life we are enjoying is going to endure. So, I combine the lesson of Lent with the story, which we just told in another podcast called the Cowboy Up Podcast. You'll enjoy it. They're now in their 4th season, and Russell True and Alan Day, two old-fashioned cowboys, never thought that they would be on the radio, and now they're in their 4th season of making friends and doing business around the world because we produce, along with a team of talented amateurs. I'm kind of the only pro around, but they turn out a very professional program, Cowboy Up Podcast, and our latest story was just about that, about Deadwood, South Dakota, and of course the story of Wild Bill Hickok and the dead man's hand. I'm Stan Houston. Just some interesting ideas, and we're going to finish up with my friend Greg Hager taking us out with his song called Aces and Eights. We'll be back. Here we go.
In my hands are eights and aces, worried looks on all their faces. Well, will I lose or will I win? I think of Hickok once again. I think of how his mama cried. I think about the way he died, how Jack McCall, he played his hand. The dead man's hand we can understand. Folded there inside each other, understand the dead man's hand. You sometimes lose, you sometimes win. Some hands you cannot play again. Sometimes the one you play can cost your soul. And you will join the ace that's in the hole. Seems I've dropped my eights and aces. They've all risen from their places. Well, did I lose or did I win? I think I hit got once again. I wonder if my mama's crying. I can't believe I'm here just dying. The way I must have played my hand. The dead man's hand we can understand. Folded there inside each other, they will never hold another. We all understand the dead man's hand. Sometimes lose, you sometimes win. Hands you cannot play again. Sometimes the one you play can cost your soul. And you will join the ace that's in the hole. Game of life is sometimes rough, and sometimes they call your bluff. Folded there inside each other, they will never hold another. We all understand the dead man's hand. Sometimes lose, you sometimes win. Some hands you cannot play again. Sometimes the one you play can cost your soul. And you will join the ace that's in the hole. You sometimes lose, you sometimes win. Some hands you cannot play again. Sometimes the one you play can cost your soul. And you will join the ace that's in the hole. And you will join the ace that's in the hole.
Thank you, Greg, and thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Play the song again and check out GregHager.com, GregHager.com, all original cowboy music from a farmer in Valley City, North Dakota, who lived out his dream to not only be a farmer, but a singer. And now he has the dream of singing all around the country and being heard all around the world. He dreamed it, and he worked hard and did it. And you know what? Perhaps you can do the same. If I can help you do that, I think I'm pretty good at helping you get started at least. StanHouston.com. No, StanHouston@gmail.com. StanHouston@gmail.com. And I should say it again, but no, I won't. All right. I'd love to hear from you. And please let me know how I can help you with whatever hand you may have been dealt. I wish you all the best and blessings at this time. God bless you and keep you and protect your family in these challenging times. Until next time, interesting ideas. We'll be back, but bye for now.